I want to thank everybody here for being here to share this wonderful announcement. The first thing I want to do is take a moment to thank the library staff that was spent years in one of the smallest branches located in a nearby strip mall. I want to acknowledge their effort, all those years of foundational work in a really tight space. So thank you to all of them. While it may have been undersized, the former branch library had engagement and programming that probably exceeded almost any other branch, double its size. I often cited the book, The Little Engine That Could, when we talked about getting a new, larger library someday. Well, someday's here. It's a big engine indeed now. It continues to serve the East Forest Park neighborhood very well. I think the circulation indicates it's serving pretty far beyond the neighborhood. Thank you to Bill Baker, who's here to say some words on behalf of the mayor. When I was a new library, Tim and I were new library commissioners when the mayor was in his first term. We kept having to come to him and get approval for a waiver from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners because we were not open for enough hours. With his support, the Springfield libraries, they're open full-time. We have services and programs that continue to grow. And these days, I can say that Molly and her team at the Springfield City Library, they go to the MBLC with optimism and architectural plans for new libraries. I'd like to thank Health and Human Service Commissioner Helen Carlton Harris. Again, when I was a new library commissioner, I thought, how does a library fall under Health and Human Services? Well, every single commission meeting that I went, I learned why. When the pandemic came, we really learned why. So we thank you for your leadership and your company. Our state delegation certainly helped with some heavy lifting in Boston. Whether it was about content in books, I want to thank Senator Jake Oliveira. I want to thank State Rep Carlos Gonzalez for always being here, for always caring. Thank you both. City Councilors Kateri Walsh, Tim Allen, and Brian Santinello, thank you very, very much. Tim has been here during all the strategic planning from when this was a seed of an idea, and a neighbor and someone who during the tornado could have been a poster boy for passing out bottled water. So we appreciate your civic engagement. I want to celebrate, and well, looking back at my colleagues from the Library Commission, I'm reminded how ideas often start out very small and they grow with time and attention. I'm grateful for the time and attention I've had with Commissioner Tim Moriarty, who's here with Mrs. Moriarty. Thank you very much. Commissioners Krista Fintralakis, Megan Lungi, and Matthew Riley have been here for every step along the way, along with a new commissioner that we have, Rachel Sanders. I want to celebrate some of the other important roles that make it possible for us to gather under this roof today. It's even a pretty cool roof. Like, look at the ceiling. Whether you served as volunteers, advisors, friends, donors, perhaps at some times you wore all those hats, Barbara Garvey. And whether or not you're with us here today or not, we know there's a lot of people who put in a big effort who aren't here. But it's a moment to celebrate the resiliency of Springfield and each one of the community members, just like you, who bind us together. I'm so happy to say this next line. I think Matthew wrote it. Today we can express thanks and bear witness to a promise fulfilled. The promise emerged from the devastation left by that tornado we all remember from June 1st in 2011. Ironically, out of that devastation arose this community building. We built a place that will continue to educate, to inspire, and to stimulate curiosity in generation after generation of children and their families. The humble beginnings and the fond memories from the old bookmobile and the little branch in the strip mall helped inspire this. Who remembers the bookmobile? I heard somebody talking about it earlier this morning.
That's where I learned astronomy, and I'm still working at the Springfield Science Museum from learning astronomy in our planetarium.
So look at that.
Library.
Thank you very much. it's this kind of civic engagement that really happen at libraries, this organic thing that just happens, whether it's taking a staff's pick when you walk in the door or a moment like you just mentioned. Well, thank you for joining us today, for being the spirit of the East Forest Park Library. I promise I'll stop talking. We're going to hear from some others. We're going to eventually stand in front of a big check and take a picture and put the cherry on top of the sundae. But I'm really, really happy to be able to introduce Library Director Molly Fogarty. So we shared a lot of speaking engagements, tag teams we called them, in the early days of the campaign. And it needs to be mentioned that when this grant application was due, this is an urban legend, confirmed. Molly drove the multiple boxes for the application to the grant in her Subaru and delivered it with the help of a hand truck across a couple of streets. So thank you very much, Molly Fogarty.
You made it. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Library Commission. Thank you, Library Foundation. Thank you, all of you, all of the wonderful donors. Thank the city administration, the mayor, the city council, who made this possible, because in 2017, when I drove across the state, I didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust FedEx. I did not trust, someone said, well, why don't you just hire a delivery? And no, I am bringing this. It's like I wouldn't deliver my child that way. So we had just spent a long time getting ready for the grant, and the grant at that point, we had huge notebooks, and that we had to have, I think, 15 of them. And so I personally drove, as Steve said. I did deliver them, as you can see. We got the grant. That was the final step in all of this, and built this beautiful library. And I do remember the beginning of the talk about doing a capital campaign. And I remember talking to some of my colleagues, library directors across the state, and a lot of them started recommending this guy named Matt Blumenfeld. Sitting over there. And so I contacted him. I contacted Matt and I said, are you interested? He said, yes. We got a grant from the Davis Foundation to do a feasibility study, and that's how the board of the Springfield Library Foundation said, let's go for it. Barbara Garvey, Charlie Ryan, Pat Markey, let's do it. And we kicked off the capital campaign in September of 2017 when we got the grant. And here we are today. And I don't know, all of you who are East Forest Park residents, I remember when we opened the library on Island Pond Road, from the day one said, this is temporary. Even though we were so excited to open it, this is temporary. We want a real library, we want a full library, and here we are. The library is such a part of this community. People from all over the city come and use this library, and it's one of our busiest branches. Last year, over 40,000 people visited this library, borrowed 60,000 items. This community room was used over 500 times, and our study rooms were used over 1,000 times. And about 8,000 people attended programs here. So the library is living. It brings people together. People borrow books, people talk, people attend programs, and we are so thrilled to be a part of this community. And we couldn't do this without the support of the community. That's why we get grants, because our community supports its libraries. Springfield loves their libraries, and that makes a huge difference when we're going for funding from a funder like the Mass Board of Library Commissioners. So I just want to close. I actually have a bunch of grandchildren, and I have pictures of them, but four of my granddaughters were visiting from New York, and when they come here, the one place they want to go, even give them lots of options, is this library. They love coming. They call it Nana's Library, so that's it. But I remember coming here with them a couple of years, and this year again, we walk in and everybody is so welcoming, and they're welcome not just to me and my family, but to everybody that walks in here. And it was interesting to just sit back and watch how they were ranged in age from 9 to 2, how they use the library, how their activities. They take out books. There was a story hour, and the staff were so welcoming, and scavenger hunts and activities going on. And that's what people that come in here every day experience. And in fact, there's a story hour, I think, going on right now. So I hope you have a chance to spend a little time walking around, seeing our makerspace, seeing our beautiful children's room and teen room and the whole library. Just we're thrilled to be here, and we're thrilled for all your support, and we thank you all. And I would love to take this opportunity to introduce Bill Baker, who does not need an introduction, but he will have some words to share. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Mayor Sarno sends his regrets. He's down at Dana-Farber getting his medical treatment, but he didn't want to miss this. This is a terrific occasion. And first of all, I just want to give Molly, Jean, and your staff a thumbs up. Let's give them a round of applause. Day in, day out, whether it's the main branch, our neighborhood branches, they do so much. Our libraries are more than just a building with books on the shelves. There are activities for children, for families, for adults, literacies, programs, reading, you name it, the libraries have it. They are a staple of our community and our neighborhoods. So Molly, Jean, staff, congratulations. Steve Carey and all the library commissioners, awesome job. The mayor's fully support, his administration fully supports that, and the tireless work that you do. To the Friends of the Library Foundation, thank you. This right here is the pinnacle of a private-public partnership right here. Working with the city and our city councilors, I also want to acknowledge Councilor Zeta Govan, who's in the back, our state delegation, with Carlos and Jake Oliveira, and the Mass Library Association that helps. We can't do this alone. It's a team effort. And I just want to bring everyone's attention to that wall right there, dedicated to the late Charlie Ryan and Barbara Garvey, whose vision is right here to put this building right back on its footprint. So thank you. And as we close the book on the East Forest Park Library, we don't take this for granted. This is a lot of work, and we're not going to stop. The next book we're writing, Mayor Sarno, working with Health Commissioner Helen Colton-Harris, our city councilors, and our state delegation, we're going to come back to you. We're looking to write a new book in the East Springfield Neighborhood Library, where we're going to expand, and I believe we're doing a presentation today, later tonight. So we're going to look at expanding that and building that out to replicate this. This branch right here is so wonderful, so fabulous, and this is just a neighborhood branch, but I put this branch on par with any other community's flagship library, and this is just our neighborhood library. So top-notch effort, top-notch facility, top-notch staff. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Again, thank you. I can't say thank you enough, so thank you. And I believe I'm going to bring up Pat. Come on down. You're the next contestant. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you to Mayor Sarno. Mayor Sarno and Charlie Ryan at one point, briefly in their careers, were political rivals. But unlike some politicians in Washington these days, they came together for the greater good. And Mayor Sarno finished what Charlie Ryan and Barbara Garvey started. So we really want to thank him for that. We've got a couple of our library, I'm the chair of the Library Foundation, sort of by default. Everybody else stepped backwards. And I was the one left standing forward. Zeta Govan, city councilor and member of our board, is present. Barbara Garvey, the founding member, along with Charlie Ryan, is present. Juan Latour is here, Mary Costello. Did I miss anybody that's here? Oh, Helen Colton-Harris, my God. Oh. Don't hold that against me. Anyway, the Library Foundation, as I think everybody in this room knows, is sort of the fundraising arm for the libraries in Springfield, also the receptacle of gifts. And Charlie and Barbara started it, and with the help of Molly, identified Matt Blumenfeld, who really did yeoman's work on this. This was funded through a partnership between the state, the city, and all of you here and others in this room. The state said, we'll build it if the city bonds. The city said, we'll bond if local residents contribute money. And so the foundation pledged $2 million. And we're here today to celebrate having achieved that goal and giving the last bit of the $2 million to the city. And that's a tremendous achievement. Everybody in this room is responsible for making that happen. There were big donors. We had, I don't want to forget the big donors, Chicopee Savings Bank, Mass Mutual, Freedom Credit Union, the Mary Brogan Estate, which is an interesting story, People's Bank. Families came together, the White family, who all grew up on Wendover Road and walking distance from here. They came together and made a big gift, which is the children's room over there. And lots of other families, including my own. My dad was like, okay, we're doing it, and each of you are given this amount. But there are so many stories like that. So many families came together to make this happen, and we're here to celebrate that and to celebrate this promise to realize it was a tremendous achievement. One person who gets credit, but I can never give her enough credit, is Barbara Garvey. You talk about this was in a strip mall, and people wanted a real library. Well, before that, as you heard, it was a bookmobile. Before that, it was nothing. Barbara Garvey was practically a founding member of the East Forest Park community. Shortly after it was all farms, her family came here, and she was a dog with a bone. She never missed an opportunity to say, this is a neighborhood that needs a library, that doesn't have a library. And that persistence paid off over the course of 50 or more years, because here we are today. So thank you, Barbara. So that's all. I've already spoken too long. Thank you very much. I want to introduce Matt Blumenfeld, who I indicated was the brains behind this operation. He really is, and we could not have done any of this without him.
Oh, it is so good to be here, and I want to thank you all for attending, and I want to thank the more than 500 donors who came together to fund the $2 million that is the Promise Realized campaign. And I'm going to end with by inviting everybody up. And we have a small, big fake check, but I think it's so fitting to have a photo op with everyone in it, because you all helped make this happen. And you know, as Molly alluded to, I've done a lot of library work over the years. I've helped build 30 libraries across the Commonwealth and in New York State. First one was over in Chicopee, which was wonderful. And in each instance, particularly in the Commonwealth, the campaigns have involved state funding, municipal funding, and private support. And there are a bunch of communities that don't go forward with library projects, and that is predominantly because the community doesn't understand broadly the importance of the library as, you know, a key institution in a municipality. I like to say, and I mentioned it before to somebody, you know, there are, the key functions of the municipality is, you know, education, fire, yes, public safety, and libraries is the fourth pillar. And you never want to use the police or the fire department, but you always want to use the library. And communities that get that notion are willing to make an investment for the long term, because a facility like this is going to last for 100 years. And you know, and that's one of the reasons why we want to be public with acknowledging donors. So you have the big donor wall outside, you have things, items and rooms named for people. It's not just for the donors and their families and the corporations. It's to send a message to everybody who walks through these doors that it's people like them that have made this happen. And that sort of helps with that, building that sense of community, sense of responsibility. So I want to be brief, because we want to get folks on with their days. You know, I do want to say, thinking about the pillars of a campaign, state government here, as represented by our folks in our delegation, absolutely essential. Municipal, the piece, absolutely essential, and then the public sector, the private sector coming together, and we've done it, and that's really, in today's world, we need good news, and that's what today is. It is about fulfilling this promise and a community coming together, ignoring everything outside, and saying this is a vital project that's going to last for decades. So we're here to celebrate that. Before I talk a little bit about what the foundation is up to now, because it's too much of a well-kept secret we want people to know, I do want to thank someone who is really important to everything, going back to the early days of the campaign, and that's Violet Giamarino, who is started out as the administrative assistant for the campaign and is now works with me closely at the Library Foundation, and she's also responsible for everything that occurred today, good and bad. So please give Violet a big round of applause. She grew up in this community, she loves the library, and she is just a dynamo, and we can't thank her enough. So just a little bit on what the foundation is taking on next this year and in the future. This year we're going to provide about $500,000 of support to the library, and that is going to go for everything from adult programs, children's programming, music programming, Wi-Fi hotspots. We are funding 200 Wi-Fi hotspots, the data plans for those, and the usage rate on that is something like 90%. Any moment in time, given moment in time, 180 of those 200 Wi-Fi hotspots are out, and that's helping people to work, to educate themselves, and enjoy all the wonderful things on the internet. We also help fund the summer reading program, and this year that concluded, they set an ambitious goal of having 1 million minutes of reading, and they achieved that. And so that's really wonderful, and so we're really proud to be a part of that. We're funding staff development. We're funding furnishings and upgrades at the Mason Square branch. We're funding technology. We're funding branch beautification. And we're also Sunday hours at the main branch at Central Library. All of these things help make the Springfield City Library great. The municipal tax levy is wonderful. It takes us only so far. It's private funding that helps take this library from good to great. And that is also done because of people like you, going back 150 years. Just this week, I came back to town and got a call from a donor who wants to provide some funding from his IRA to help continue to fund staff development. $10,000 gift is going to come in as a result of that. And that's great. It's really wonderful. And we're going to establish a fund that will last in perpetuity, and that will help fund staff development for the future. So, and then the last thing that we're working on, and it was already alluded to, is thinking about how we can support the next great branch in the city, which is East Springfield. I don't anticipate that we'll be doing a $2 million campaign, but we certainly, the foundation wants to take on a role in that. I am really privileged to work with Violet, but also with this incredible board under Pat's leadership. And I really want to thank all of our foundation board members who are here in attendance. I'm not going to repeat names, but thank you for being such great bosses. Continuing to work together, I hope that we will increase the amount of money that we're able to give to the library each year. And then last but not least, I would be remiss if I didn't say there's always an opportunity to give. There are envelopes outside to your left to help provide funding for the annual fund. The funding that we raised last year for the annual fund is going directly to the library to support a program that was cut and we're now bringing back, which is sending library books to people in their homes who can't. What's the name of the program? It's Library in Your Mailbox, and we'll be having an announcement about that. But every dollar that's raised through the annual fund is going to go that was raised last year in the annual fund goes directly to support that program. And that's what, annual fund support goes directly to programs at the library. So with that, and I would, no, not with that. I want to tell one Barbara Garvey story. So when we were at the tail end of the campaign, back before COVID, and the library was done, the library board decided that it wanted to recognize Charlie and Barbara for all of their hard work over the years. And so we very quietly created this signage, and Pat, then after it was up, before Barbara had a chance to come in, Pat invited her for a tour. And so we went and did the entire library with Barbara, and she asked, hard and wonderful questions, and we had a wonderful time. And then we walked in here to show her the community room, and she saw the sign, and she teared up. And I've never seen Barbara tear up before. And I think that expresses exactly what this is all about. It's recognizing people for their commitment to the people of this city. And so, Barbara, thank you for all of the work that you did over the years, and of course to Charlie Ryan as well. So with that, I would like to conclude our formal presentation and invite everybody up and do a photo op with the big fake check, and make this statement that we are all a part of something that's greater than ourselves. So thank you so much. Come on up and let's do a lovely photo.